Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and the rest of you lovely, lovely Americans on this weekend. I'm specifically, you know what? It was Canada Day the other day. Happy Canada Day, and it's Independence Day in 2 days. So, you know, everybody feel really good about yourselves this week. It is Eat, Sleep, Podcast, Repeat. I am Sean Hood. That is Dave Taylor.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching. USA, USA.
We're kind of in the middle, so USA and Canada. USA and Canada. In any event, it is FM 99 of the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast, Eat, Sleep, Podcast, Repeat. You can find us lots of different ways, including on FM99.com and 1069thefox.com. Right under the media tab, click ESPR, and it links you to our most recent episodes. And our SoundCloud, which has a backlog of all of our episodes, where you can find episodes where we've talked about many, many things, including we've had interviews with current WWE champion Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
We have spoken with Big E. We've talked with Mick Foley. We've talked with, just the gamut of people. We've talked with Natalia Neidhart. We talked with Lana.
Seth Rollins, Sergeant Slaughter.
There's tons of people. So just go check the backlog if you haven't seen those yet, or listen to them, because we just started doing the seeing thing recently. And all that's on there. Plus, you can find us on all your major podcasting apps. Just search ESPR Wrestling. You can find us all over the place. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. We appreciate it when you do. And, of course, we get in touch with us. Facebook.com/ESPR99, on the Twitter @ESPR99, or email us, as it says right there. Email us at ESPR@FM99.com.
That's right. Yeah. And, you know, as you're watching, please feel free to comment below and stuff, and I appreciate that. And by the way, thank you, Josh, for the Drew McIntyre is great. It was.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
And we appreciate you watching. And thanks for commenting on our Twitter and our Facebook. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it. That's awesome. So, you know what? I also got to mention this one just real quick while I'm thinking about it. We also have an interview with The Miz where Dave forgets what show he's on, so you should go listen to that one too.
Oh, yeah, The Miz.
That's a good one too.
Hey, one of the few guests we've had on multiple times. Him and Chris Jericho, I think, are in that club. So
yeah, yep. So, in any event, we this week we're going to talk about really mainly two things. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot of interest in talking about Raw or SmackDown right now. We kind of know where everything's kind of just happening until we get to Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
Really, even Extreme Rules is just kind of happening until we get to SummerSlam, until they figure out what they're doing with SummerSlam. Because they still seem pretty... I was reading, and again, these are all reports, so you take them with rumor and innuendo. But we need a rumor and innuendo tab. But they're saying that as recent as like 2 weeks ago, WWE was still gung-ho about doing SummerSlam with fans, in a building with fans, not in the Performance Center, in a real venue, and with an actual crowd. Now that's being pulled back on. Obviously, they don't want to give up on it, but they're kind of realizing they may not have an option with how COVID-19 is spiking in the majority of the country. I think 36 states have seen spikes in the last week or two. So they're realizing that it may not be an option for them to do it with fans. It may end up being at the Performance Center, and it may end up being with the kind of crowds they have now, which is, I will say this, we'll go ahead and get right into it, because we're talking about NXT TakeOver, the Great American Bash, that's what they called it, and AEW Fyter Fest. And I'm going to go ahead and say right now that I genuinely have come to really like the hockey glass that they're using at these things, because it made up for. This was probably one of the louder times I felt like the crowd was at a show.
Well, which I thought was odd, because of the placement was, they weren't like by the entrance ramp. They had the cars there, which by the way, I thought they had much better setup than Fyter Fest, but. It was weird because you couldn't see them, but you could definitely hear them. You are right with that.
They were mic'd well, and again, I thought they were really active about like banging on the glass, and I think that banging on the glass really helped with the noise. It sounded kind of thunderous,
Yeah, it sounded like there's a lot more people there, and so they figured it out. Yeah,
I think that's smart, and I gotta wonder to myself if WWE is going to consider doing something like that when they have actual fans back, because it gives you options you didn't have before. Like I loved. We'll talk. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get right into the shows. And I want to talk about things they did without actually getting into the shows. Great American Bash. We can talk about that right now. The show started off Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Fatal 4-Way. Little awkward at the very, very beginning. They were kind of feeling it out. But once they got down the stretch, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
It's weird because I know they went with Tiga winning, which I'm happy for her. But I don't know if it's like if she has that look of like the deer in the headlights kind of look going on, because a couple of things that happened, and I'm like, well, she should be doing something here, or she's not. So there was a couple of like awkward moments I thought in the match, but it was enjoyable, and I kind of wish that like they could do this again, but with like give them more time, because it just felt like being a TV event, they kind of rushed it a little bit.
Well, I think part of the reason it ends up feeling rushed is because, first of all, they can lie to me all they want and say, reduced commercials or whatever, blah 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 blah. The first 15 minutes of that show, there were 2 commercial breaks, like full commercial breaks. And I don't know about everybody else watching, but where I was watching, one of the commercials in both breaks, like, it did a commercial, and then it started playing another commercial. Then it replayed the first commercial, and then it replayed the second commercial, and then it went through the rest of the break.
Yeah,
which was kind of annoying because I was like, "Oh my god, get back to the show." But again, I thought the women all did a very good job. While I don't love these kind of matches, simply because, like you said, when they don't give them enough time, it can feel a little rushed when you get some of these eliminations.
Yeah,
and they get eliminated in ways that you're like, well. I didn't feel quite like that about this because I mean, Candice LeRae at that German suplex off the ropes or whatever.
Yeah, like her elimination made sense, but I felt like with Mia Yim, and I was like, wow, but it made sense in the booking standpoint for Dakota Kai and Tegan to finally go at it. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of felt like there should have been more of that, like, okay, I had it with you, we've been battling, let's do this, and
I'm hoping they move on from each other at this point because they've really that's kind of done and over with, and I'm ready to see them both in something else. I will say that I think that all 4 ladies are in good spots as far as their characters and everything. Tegan is the plucky bite, the baby face who just never say die. Candice LeRae, I love the poison pixie gimmick.
It's so much better for her. It is whoever did that. It's working so much better than when she was a face.
Dakota Kai is I had never seen her be a heel before, and she has blossomed into that role so well as a catty, bitchy, just like, pain in the ass, I really enjoy her in that role. And Mia Yim, I just feel like Mia Yim just comes across, I buy Mia Yim as who she is. Like, I'm like, okay, I believe that's Mia Yim.
Of the 4, because I thought maybe she was going to win, they all have a style that, I like them, but I don't know if it works in the WWE because they're too high flyer-ish. It seems like they kind of tone that down a little bit, kind of like with Kairi Sane at times, where it's like, no, let them be the flyers, because there's some of the stuff that happens on the outside with the flips and everything else.
I think that Mia, to be perfectly honest, the flipping stuff she does is actually my least favorite part of Mia's offense. I enjoy everything else she does around that. I'm a big fan of that. She's got really good physicality. She's got some really good strikes. And she sometimes, and I'm going to say this, it sounds mean when I say it, but it's like the same thing the same thing people say about like Mick Foley, same thing people say about Ronda Rousey, is it almost looks a little awkward in the sense that it looks more real because it's not, it doesn't look perfect every time. It looks more like a fight. You know what I mean? Yes. Yeah. And by the way, I know you're going to bring that up, Dave, but we'll get to that later.
That was Ben coming in early, so.
Yes, Ben with the hot take. And I feel like the whole thing, the match, anyways, good match overall. They got a good pace, and they got the show off to the right start.
Yeah, not much to say about Thatcher.
I love this match. I love this match.
See, this is the one that, like, okay, because I went on Hulu, not on there, because everything else was. Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I need to find this, or I need to go to the network. And then
you do. Because this match was really good. Like,
where's the match?
And I say that in the sense that I understand that not everybody loves this style of match. This is that catch as catch can, MMA style, wrestling. And I really, really enjoy that. It was like I really enjoyed Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle. I think that was really good. It's aggressive, it's hard hitting, it's painful looking, and I really enjoyed it. Those guys did a great job. So
and he is a maniac, as Benjamin says. So.
Yes, he is an absolute.
And James, hey, thanks for watching. Hey, what's up, guys? You guys are blanking awesome. Appreciate that. Oh, hey, and this one's for you, Sean, from Larry.
Buddy, if I thought I could run the ropes for more than 20 seconds without falling over and just being like, trust me, I would have done that a long time ago.
Blowing up early. This I didn't do anything for me. If you want to say anything about Rhea versus Aaliyah.
It was never meant to be anything super serious. In all honesty, they went a different direction than I thought they were going to. I thought it was going to be one of those things where Rhea loses and she's going to be put in this storyline where she has to deal with Stone and Aaliyah. I apologize to yawning to everybody. I've been up since 3 a.m. And I just it's been a long day. In any event, Rhea, I thought it was okay. I'm still. I guess it's okay for WWE to do male on female violence when the guy's a comedy guy. I
guess if it's comedy, I just don't know if this is what she needs. Unless you're just trying to build some character and maybe just try to give her something else other than being
her from the title picture at the moment.
Yeah.
And you had all four of the other major ladies on the roster tied up in that fatal 4-way, so there was nowhere to really pivot her to. But they didn't want her to not be on the show. They need to use her. They need to keep her on people's minds, but they also need to pivot her away from the title at the moment because it's clearly not where she's going. No. So I'm genuinely surprised after she dropped the title, she didn't just go to the main roster. But
yeah, it should have happened.
But it's entertaining.
Yeah, I guess for you, I don't know. I just they can do more with her. I'm not complaining, but it's she's in an awkward spot. I think they just need to figure out, have her wrestle some good matches.
Hey guys, between you and me, Dave's complaining. So strap match, Dexter Lumis, Roderick Strong. Started out a little slow, but that's kind of Dexter Lumis's thing. As it went on, they built more into that Roderick Strong pace, which is a breakneck pace, and it is fun to watch. And I think Dexter Lumis does very good character work. He has that stare. It's just...
we didn't plan that.
He's really good at it. And Roderick Strong does a great job selling it. Entertaining. I think it was the most amazing match Roderick Strong's ever had? No. But it was a good match. It was a good match. Dexter Lumis looked good. Roderick Strong helped create a lot of movement in the match, which helped.
Being a gimmick match, it's one of those matches that, it doesn't hurt Roderick for losing this match. And they've been building Dexter up because it's been weird because he's been, doing moves to him and he's it's almost like he's petting his head. It's just been disturbing, which is great character.
Is what it is.
Yeah, and the right guy won, and but it doesn't hurt Roderick because this is the type of match that it was.
Right.
Yeah. And then you had one match left on the card. So.
One match left on the card.
He's gonna do it.
And now for the main event of the evening. Sorry, the mic has to come down for me to say it.
Kennedy, Io Shirai, Sasha Banks. Let him wrestle. Just let him do it again. Just let him wrestle and let him wrestle again because why not? Because it's probably one of the best women's matches we've had of the year so far.
They didn't start out on a takeover level kind of bar, but by the end of it, they were killing it. They were hailing it by the end of it.
And Sasha's best match all year by far. So.
Oh, without a doubt. It was funny because I was kind of watching the match, and about half of the way through, I was like, man, is it ever going to kick up a notch? Are we ever going to get to that next gear? Because this is kind of how I felt about Sasha since she's come back. And I'm like, I'm not feeling the next gear. Does Sasha not get there anymore? What's going on? And then I was completely wrong and they got there and it ended up being great.
And I think it's just the build-up of everything, as you said, the pacing. Because I think the last good match she had was against Becky because everything else since then has been, okay. And then this was once they got going, man, it was going. And then with Asuka coming out and then, and then in the midst of it, and then she kicks out and you're like, oh my gosh, because you think it's over. That is soon after that, but.
I did enjoy Asuka's random appearance all of a sudden when she comes up from the side of the ring with that grin on her face. And it was like, oh, hell. And and I don't know why, but Asuka is like this dorky, adorable person when she's not being an ass kicker. She's like dancing around on the outside of the ring, just dancing and going, E-up, E-up, E-up. And I'm like, I don't know why. She's adorable. I love her. But Asuka's great. And Io gets the win. Very, very good match. And right match to close the first night of Great American Bash. Thoroughly, I enjoyed the show. It didn't feel quite takeover worthy, but it definitely felt like a phenomenally strong normal episode. You know what I mean? Or like, I guess we could call it just a special or something.
Well, that's what it was. I mean, it was just to counter Fyter Fest, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But
yes, it was to counter Fyter Fest. No matter what anybody lets you think, it was 100% to counter Fyter Fest. This was counter programming at its finest because they all of a sudden, last minute, decided they were going to call it Bash at the Beach. Or, I'm sorry, Great American Bash.
Great American Bash, yeah.
Great American Bash. And, like, again, last minute, they decide they're going to call it Great American Bash. And then they decide also that it's going to be 2 nights. We didn't have 2 nights planned, but it's going to be 2 nights now. And gee, I wonder why that is. Maybe because AEW Fyter Fest was scheduled to be 2 nights.
Yeah,
and I think it was kind of a douchey move, but I also think, like, as far as business goes, it's a smart strategy. It's counter program. It is what it is. I
got some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to mention after we talk about Fyter Fest here of the end results of all that and who really won the night, because it's. You can look at it many different ways, how you want to spin the numbers.
Right.
So,
all right. Well, then let's get into Fyter Fest, shall we? Opening match, Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus MJF and Wardlow. Good match. I enjoyed it. I thought the pace was really impressive. The one thing I didn't really enjoy about the match, and this is a problem for me through a lot of AEW stuff, is as much as, Dave, you have an issue with NXT for this, I have an issue with AEW more. The no-selling. At one point, MJF gets caught in this wicked sit-out powerbomb and immediately stands back up and super kicks Luchasaurus, who's the guy who just powerbombed him. Like, Luchasaurus is still sitting from the powerbomb, and MJF stands right back up and super kicks him while he's sitting on the ground. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and if you don't watch AEW, and if you've never seen Luchasaurus, he is a big dude. Who, by the way, nice kip up.
All of them nice kip up. Like, watching when MJF and Jungle Boy did it, I was like, okay, good job, because it was pretty synchronized. And then when Luchasaurus and Wardlow both did it, I was like, oh, good God. That was like watching like 2 different sides of beef kip up off the ground. Like, that was ridiculous. But a really entertaining match.
Yes, we know, Chuck, but it's the believability standpoint that we like to enjoy it. So that's the thing. You know, because when you mentioned all that stuff going down, it's like watching, and at times felt like watching an independent show. You know, AEW kind of has that vibe. It just kind of felt like one of those shows where it's like, well, okay, things are going to happen. They're going to kill each other. They're going to pop. Yeah. Gonna pop right back up. I was like, yeah. I mean, it was a fun match. I mean, I thought the end was a little bit weird with the whole ring punch and everything. And
well, that's his thing, the ring punch. So
but just kind of came off as awkward with Luchasaurus.
It came off real awkward because of the way he was holding his arm, and all of a sudden it just happens to go forward. And when he kicked him in the back, it was a little awkward for sure.
What it take? What it take? Like 80 moves to finish off Wardlow. Which is
smart. He's a big monster dude. You don't want to be. You want to make sure you protect him.
Yeah. So that part made sense. And the step before that was a little weird. This to me, match of the night by far on AEW side.
Thoroughly impressed.
The match.
They far exceeded my expectations. I thought Shida already was a very good performer. What I was kind of on, not that I didn't think she was good. I just didn't expect anything great from her here. And it started out a little slow, but I say that, and then they really actually maintained a really like constant pace, and the action never really stopped.
Well, you had to do that stuff with Kip Sabian and all that stuff, and then once he was gone, it just kind of felt like it was a better match. And sometimes it's always the case. You get a little interference or a little distraction. It's like, okay, you go. Right. Now we can have our match. It's weird because looking at Penelope, it almost felt like I was watching Dana Brooke just because of the hair and like the outfit colors. It was like, I was like, no, it's not Dana Brooke. That's Penelope.
I enjoyed the counters she had for the Falcon Arrow.
Yeah.
Those were good. Those were nice.
Because you never seen that with the roll up and everything, and then with the only thing I didn't like about the match is when Kip came back. And then, and he got hit, and then the stick. He just kind of
when he threw it up in the air, it was a little odd because that just doesn't like you got to at least do it a little more believably than that. Like she could have hit him and then like kicked his hand to make it go up in the air. You know what I mean, or something like that, or just pulled it right out of his hand. But I get they were going for the fantastic, Yeah, I understand it. It just didn't come across all that well.
I think something like a spot like that works better with the crowd. But.
Oh, without a doubt.
This wasn't. This was all right with
Cody
versus Jake. I never felt like, and I know they want to make Jake look like a monster, but I never felt like it made him more like a tough guy and less like a wrestler. I thought.
To me, first of all, he came out to the ring in his Fruit of the Looms blue boxer briefs, which was not a good look.
No.
He needs to go back to the singlet. That was a better look for him.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good look right off the bat. And then the match, like you said, it just didn't really. It was good. It wasn't great. It never got out of that. Like it never got out of third gear. You know what I mean? They kind of got going, and then it ended.
Well, I think they went with a quick move. With the revert, not really the reversal, but Cody passes out, but somehow he still pins Hager, which I guess to protect him and stuff, and he punches out the ref, so there'll be some repercussions. Is this? I am a say AEW every once in a while, but is this Hager's first match in AEW, or it seems like the first? Okay.
No, he wrestled Jon Moxley for the title too.
Okay.
I think he may have done that at Double or Nothing, their last pay-per-view. But that wasn't great either. It was okay. It was good. Again, it was good. Wasn't great.
So he's just getting title matches without doing anything else.
I really feel like at this point, I genuinely feel like at this point, for everybody who felt like he was held down in WWE, I'm like, no, he was about right. He was about where he needed to be.
Yeah. I mean, his moment, and I thought WWE was the We the People gimmick. I thought was great because maybe the chance over more than the wrestler, but people liked it, and then when that went away,
it got people to care about him.
Yeah.
So, in any event, Cody retains, which really everybody thought he was going to anyway, so it wasn't too much of a surprise. I don't know. Again, good, not great.
Yeah. This one I did not see. So this is a Private Party versus the Inner Circle.
Another good match. I mean, again, a lot of these never hit that next level for me that I was hoping a lot of them would hit. Private Party is a really entertaining team. I enjoy watching them a lot. As well as Santana and Ortiz, who I'm not sure if they still go by Proud and Powerful now or not. They were both, they're both really, really athletic, but just, I don't know, there was no real story in it. And Santana and Ortiz, this is the problem I have with the Inner Circle group. They feel like goons for the Inner Circle, who have been beat up by Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks and all these different people repeatedly, and have never really been made to look like a threat. Like I think just a week ago we watched Matt Hardy, who I'm sorry is in his 40s, have a match with Santana, I think, and beat him. There was no heat on this match at all, so it just kind of. And then them losing doesn't make it look any better.
No, it's hard to take them seriously just in the booking it. I mean, Private Party's has a lot more ups than downs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're next for. But did they have the tag title match? Or no, they lost, right? Because they lost to the guys to Best Friends, right? And that's why.
Right.
We had the last match of the night. Is this really the main event?
The second time. And now, for the second main event of the evening.
AEW World Tag Team Championship. Kenny Omega, Adam Page defending against Best Friends. Okay, you had complaints about like one of the first tag match. My complaint, I just never felt like this was like a tag match. It just felt like everybody's either in the ring, getting thrown out of the ring, and it never felt like especially the last 5 minutes, never felt like a tag match to me.
No, it didn't really feel like a tag match to me either. I don't feel the tag team chemistry between Kenny Omega and Adam Page, no matter how much they want to sell me on it. They can do all the moves together they want to. I just don't feel the unit. I just don't feel like they're a team. The best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent, I like them, but I'm sorry, I don't buy them as a credible threat as a tag team because they spend too much time with their best friends gimmick. Yeah. If these two would find a little edge in their matches, I think that would help them a great deal. At least when you're in a title match, treat it a little more. At one point during the match, I remember the best friends do that hug thing. Yeah. And JR, God bless him, because somebody says, they're giving the people what they want. And JR goes, what they want are new tag team champions, not a damn hug. And I was like, bless you, JR. Bless you, because that's 100% accurate, because we didn't need that in that match. I understand you do that sort of thing to endear them to people and everything. It's their fun gimmick and this, that, and the other thing. But at a certain point, they have to take these things seriously.
Yeah. I like what you just said. Like, that's like stuff that needs to happen before the match, where you're just kind of like, you just want to, like, okay, we're going to do this, and then just kind of get in the, the face of the other team. You're just like, we're best friends.
Or even, it can happen. It can happen, before the match. It can happen after the match. It can happen. In fact, I think after the match sometimes would carry a little more weight, because, like, if they had a really hard fought, balls to the wall match here, and come up short, and they're looking dejected, and they sell the really upset, and they're bothered. Yeah. But then they go in for the hug, what I mean? Get the crowd to cheer them anyway, even though they lost in defeat. And I think that would serve a better purpose than in the match, where they routinely do that and then it ends up costing them.
Yeah, I'm going to go really old school on you. The Rougeau brothers, which I think was
Rougeau brothers.
Jock and Raymond, being brothers, real life brothers. But that was like one of the things that they would do, like one of them would get beat up or whatever or something, or, and they would like hug each other. Or do all these things because it worked as a heel. You generate this heat and stuff.
I can't remember who it was. One of them was apparently a big baby. I don't remember.
Who was it? Well, one of them punched out Dynamite Kid, which I think was Jock, or somebody with the roll quarters.
Well, I remember that story. Bruce Pritchard's told that story a million times. Not to plug another show, but he's told that He's told that story several times, and it's good.
Yeah.
In any event. But yeah, so that kind of the problem is that this kind of summed up Fyter Fest for me. Is it was okay. It was good. Wasn't great. Now, granted, this is night one. Maybe they're saving their stuff for night two. That's really going to blow us out of the water. I don't know.
Did you like Jericho's commentary?
Because they planned on this being a 2-night event the whole time, not all of a sudden to counter program somebody else.
Yeah.
This was one of the highlights of the night. Jericho on commentary was great. I love him. I like that he's his character, but at the same time, he sells what needs to be sold in the match.
I agree with you about 75%, because I thought there was times he was great, like in the women's title match, and just the way he sold some of the stuff, and he's like, that was the best match that Penelope Ford ever wrestled. It just is like, he was passionate, but then sometimes it was like, just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think if he was a regular commentator, he would tone it down a little bit. But I think the fact that he's an active performer, he's a character on the show, he's not going to tone it down. He's going to be Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho's loud and annoying. So I think that's what you're going to get right now. If he retires from wrestling and becomes a commentator, and we see this on a regular basis, I think he will find a way to smooth it out a little more. But I think he was there. His whole point is to be that annoying character that we see week in and week out on actually wrestling. He had some great lines in there where he was talking about like when Wardlow and Luchasaurus were fighting each other, and he goes, Godzilla, King Kong, Godzilla, King Kong. And he goes, and I love his ridiculous feud for some reason with Excalibur. And he goes, why I call him Godzilla? I call him Godzilla Excalibur? And he goes, why? And he goes, because I like Japanese movies, you idiot. These simple questions with these simple answers, and he would just rail on Excalibur.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like the days of and I'm not comparing him to Bobby Heenan because this is a different kind of commentary, but it was always that, and then whoever's in the booth with him, you would just,
taking the dig.
Yeah. I thought the women ruled the night.
Yes.
hats off.
My 3 favorite matches of the night were women's matches. I think it was the Fatal 4-Way, Sasha Banks and Io Shirai, and Hikaru Shida and Penelope Ford. I think the 3 of them were my favorite matches on both shows.
The ratings are in.
Okay, I haven't seen them.
Okay, so overall, this we're gonna get dicey here. Okay. Overall ratings, all demographics.
Mm-hmm.
NXT beats AEW.
Okay, but, isn't that like the second week in a row?
Second week in a row, but in the money demo, which is the
18 to 49.
18 to 49 bracket, which in the advertising world, that's usually where the ads are focused.
That's where you want the money. Yeah, that's where you get the money.
AEW ahead of NXT. So who really wins? I mean, overall, and Jericho says, it's not a ratings war for us; it is for them.
Well, it's funny because Jericho said that, but then on the very same show, MJF goes, "We're in a ratings war," and I'm like, "What?" I feel like nobody on either show can deny they're in a ratings war at this point.
Yeah.
You're 100% in a ratings war.
But okay. So who wins the overall night? I mean, because you look at the overall picture and you look at the age demographic, but who has bragging rights like that?
The problem is here's how it's going to end up. Who has bragging rights? It doesn't matter because both sides will use what you pointed out as their bragging rights.
The numbers.
One side will say we had more people. The other side will say we had more in the key demographic.
Well, that was what now last week Jericho and the Orange Cassidy segment was the lowest ever AEW segment that they've had since.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
2 weeks prior to that, when Sasha and Bayley fought on NXT, that beat the Jericho segment. Which then Jericho came back and said, "Oh, you won overall, but we won in the age demographic."
Which I mean is important. It is important.
Yeah, and I don't know. What this is a totally sign for NXT is that they skew older a lot, a lot older than AEW does. And I don't know if that's just old time fans, but I don't know how NXT is not connecting. I mean, you do have decent young audience numbers, but how are they not connecting more?
I think the younger wrestling crowd is big into the indie scene and the internet wrestling community and everything, and I think of course that's where the Young Bucks went, that's where Kenny Omega went, that's where Cody Rhodes went, that's where so I think that pulled a lot of them towards AEW. Now that being said, I also feel like right now is a weird time to be making any of these comparisons because everybody's ratings kind of suck.
Yeah.
So really, and I feel like the Jericho segment and that's why I feel like it's unfair to say the Jericho segment and the Orange Cassidy segment was the lowest rated segment they've ever done. Well, I feel like that's unfair because their shows overall are lower rated than they have been since they started because they're in such a weird situation right now.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, Orange Cassidy especially is one of those characters that needs a live crowd. I don't think sitting at home watching from your couch, you get it without a live crowd reacting to the things he does.
Yeah, because the crowd loves the guy. Absolutely love him.
Yeah,
I
just don't think it's as entertaining without the live crowd there. So I think he'll be better served when there's people back, but that could be another 6 months to a year at this point.
Yeah.
So coming up next week, surprise, surprise, we're going to talk about AEW Fyter Fest and NXT Great American Bash. Dose.
We also have a preview of a WWE event because why not have more wrestling?
Why not? Why?
Extreme Rules.
I was going to say, is next week the preview for Extreme Rules as well?
I've got to double check that. And no, actually, we have an extra week.
So it's the preview.
Yeah, so the preview, which means we'll have record numbers.
Our preview episodes are the ones that do the best for some reason. So our preview episode for Extreme Rules, we'll talk about Fyter Fest and Great American Bash.
Yeah. Extreme Rules, the horror show.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're calling it. Well, because this allows them to do their matches not in the ring, so they could, tape everything in advance. Oh, by the way, Renee Young, cookbook. That's what she's doing. She had a big announcement. She's got a cookbook. So.
All right, well, good for her.
Yeah.
Might actually try to pick that up. I don't know. Maybe we can get a copy.
That would be great. We could try. It's probably like, I mean, I don't know what if her cooking style is. I don't know if it's vegan, if it's like a normal cookbook. I don't know.
Whatever it is, we still might be able to get a copy. Just in general.
Yeah.
We might be interested to check it out and tell the fine people about Renee Young's cookbook.
I have this, by the way.
But I have that too.
But like and by the way, if somebody gets the word out to JR because there's like, hey, he's doing interviews, and then all of a sudden like they never heard back. We want to get him on their show, so because the opportunity was there, and then like,
hey, you've got the freaking inside track with Tony Schiavone. I don't know why you don't use it.
Well, maybe we get him on next week before Fyter Fest Part 2.
Maybe just don't forget to talk to him this time. Dave's too cool. He brushes off Tony Schiavone.
One AEW complaint. And I wish they didn't do this. They post the results for the Dark show, and I wish they just put the matches like, here's what you missed, instead of telling me, because then why do I gotta go watch it?
I mean, I don't really read the results, so.
Well, but they posted them during they're one of the matches. Like, here's what happened on the show that you didn't watch yesterday. And then,
well, I mean, yeah, but I didn't read it. I just go watch them. So, I mean, I guess they're just relying on people like me to just go watch it.
They showed it during the show.
Oh yeah, well, if it was yesterday, then of course they're going to do that.
Or why not just tell me what I missed?
You mean the one that is it the one they filmed but haven't aired yet?
No, I think they aired it like on like Tuesday. It's the Tuesday show, and here's what happened.
But then why wouldn't they talk about things that have already happened, Dave? Because it airs on it's on available for you to watch.
Yeah, but just tell me the matches. Just say, here's what you missed, and just
But Dave, by that same logic, nobody does that. It's not like they go, hey, it's not like when we're on SmackDown and they go, hey, remember Raw? Some things happened, but we're not going to tell you. Like they recap what happened on the show.
Well, they do that on Raw, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But they'll recap the previous results because that's what they do. They're over already.
But they never talk about like the main event show and like here's.
Well, no, because nobody cares about the main event. WWE has 49 programs. They don't. That's not the really comparable there.
It's hard to keep up. Yeah.
It really is at this point. In any event, so until next week, we will do our preview episode for Extreme Rules, where we talk about Fyter Fest and Great American Bash.
Yeah.
Make sure you find us again, fm99.com and 1069thefox.com. Right under the media tab, just click ESPR. Or you can find us in all your major podcasting apps. Just search ESPR Wrestling and find us all over the place. And, of course, facebook.com/ESPR99 and on the Twitter @ESPR99. And email us, ESPR@FM99.com if you want us to address anything for you. But until next week, I guess Dave is looking around. Did one of your cats do something?
No, I had a prop, and I was gonna wave an American flag. So
Dave had a prop and he blew it.
Yeah, I did. So
blew it. America's a shame. America's a shame, Dave. He just left. Did we exile him? I'm good with that. Did we exile Dave for failing to remember the American flag? Because if that's, I feel like we can get on board with that. Okay, there we go.
I feel like Tony Kornheiser now. Pardon the interruption.
Is this you going for a cheap pop? Are you trying to go for a hacksaw Jim Duggan moment here? Or yeah, that's kind of how it feels. Well, hold on. If you get a cheap pop as we end this episode, then guess what? I'm going to get one too.
Okay.
Hang on, we're gonna because again, we're doing this smack dab in the middle between July 4th and Canada Day.
Like, if you bust out some Labatt's or some Molson, I would be like completely shocked.
Dude, if I busted those out, I'd be shocked. I don't ever have any beer in my house, let alone like that kind of beer.
I don't. Do they sell that in Virginia? I don't know. I mean, I'm a Michigan guy. Oh, here we go. Oh, Canada.
That's right. See, representing everybody here on Eat Sleep Podcast Repeat. We're inclusive here. So again, until next week, remember to eat, sleep, podcast, and
repeat.
And everybody be safe this weekend. So we see you next weekend.
Yes. Be good.